I'd like to welcome the Minister back to the House and wish him well with this piece of legislation. It's very welcome, and I welcome the piece of legislation. It gives some certainty to people that find themselves renting, and it has safeguards as well for students. And I agree with Senator Byrne in relation to student accommodation. There is a whole need for campus accommodation, and I would hope that with the technological universities that we would find that there would be new campuses built in all of the technological universities. And I think it is important to say, as Senator Byrne has said, that those technological universities would have the power and the money to build on campus and to build campuses for student accommodation. I don't envy the job, Minister, that you have to do in relation to housing. I've only listened to the Pat Kinney show today, and they have horrendous problems in Sweden. Not too long ago, they built 1.6 million housing units, and they still have a crisis. There's a crisis in Germany as well. And you have to wonder about where some of the greatest economies in the world have problems with housing. It may be a shortage of housing, it's a shortage of accommodation for renters. And so we're not unique in that we have a problem with housing. And the late Brian Linehan said, I think it was back in 2010, I think, before while he was Minister for Finance, said that there would be a requirement for 25,000 houses per annum, even after the crash. And those targets were never reached any year from then until now. So that's why we have a huge shortage. And I think, Minister, you have to look at why are there so many people, small people, getting out of renting houses? Why is the accidental landlord, we'll say, or the person who's in this business in a small way, who maybe has one or two houses, and they bought those with the help or with the intention of providing a pension for themselves? Why are those people getting out of renting? Why are some of them moving into Airbnb, and why are some of them selling? An auctioneer in the outskirts of Dublin told me that he has sold 60 houses in the last year and a half. And all of those, bar one, were second homes. There was only one of them was a house that was owned by a person that was moving some other place. They were all houses that was taken up or that was rented out. And you have to ask the question, why are all of those people getting out of that business? And you know, going forward, there'll always be a space for renting. People, when they get into their first job, after getting married maybe, they don't know where they're going to settle down, so they're going to rent. And where are they going to get the accommodation to rent, or who's going to provide that rental accommodation? So I think this is an area, Minister, that you have to look at and take into account. Personally, I believe it's a taxation problem, I have to say, because more than half of the funds that people take in renting, whether it's 1,000 a month for a house, whether it's 2,000 a month for a property, more than half it has gone on taxation alone, never mind management fees or repairs or any of that. So when you take all of those, I'd love to see the breakdown of accommodation that's rented by people who have second homes, to see what they really are getting out of renting a property. And these are people that maybe have the property paid for, they're getting out of it, that they don't have any capital repayments to make. So I think, and that's not just in specific areas, that's right throughout the length and breadth of the country. In every city and every town, they're getting out of rented property. So I welcome the bill, Minister. I wish you well with it, and indeed I wish you well with the task that you have in solving the housing crisis, and you're doing a magnificent job in relation to that, because it's not an easy task, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much indeed, Senator.